So good morning to all. So today we are going to start the word processing terminology. So first terminology is margins. So margin means the definition of margin means the distance from the text to the paper's edge is called margin. So better example, while you are writing in your exam, first you need to put the margin, then only you can start the writing. So margin is the distance from the text to the paper's edge. The distance from the text to the paper's edge is called margin. So look at that here. This is how the top margin means the top area to the text. Left margin means the left area of the paper to the writing part. Then right margin, then bottom margin. So assume that the text area is already displayed here. Then top margin means the distance from the top to the text. Left margin means the distance from the left edge of the paper to the text. Right margin means the distance from the right side to the edge of the paper. Then bottom margin means the distance from the bottom to the edge of the paper. So these are the three different margins available in OpenOffice Writer. So you need to draw this figure, then you can explain like this. Left margin is the distance between text and the left edge of the paper. Right margin, this is the distance between the text and the right edge. Top margin, the distance between text and the top edge. Bottom margin, distance between the text and the bottom edge. Okay, then next important terminology is columns. Columns means look at that here. This is a text area. The entire text area is divided into different types of text area, that is called columns. Sometimes we need to put the multiple columns, like in newspaper. For example, in newspaper, so look at that, a simple newspaper is, you take one newspaper and look at that here, too many columns are there. For creating such a type of newspaper document, we need to add columns. That is the use of columns. So look at that, this is the paper columns are available. So here 1 2 3, too many columns are available. So you can apply line between column, space between column, then we can adjust the width of the column also. Then another type of margin, look at that here, gutter margins are available. Gutter margin is an extra space inside the margin to erase of binding, like ace of binding. So look at that here, uh, look at that here, in this sphere gutter margin is explained here. So look at that, one paper is there, one word processor text area is there. So we can add extra space inside the margin, that is called gutter margin. So gutter margin is the extra space inside the margin. So important topic. So columns are used to we can divide our text area into different columns. So then word wrapping, next terminology is called word wrapping. We already study word wrapping means the placement of the text going past the right margin to the next line is called word wrap. So yesterday we already studied what you mean by word wrap. So if you are typing one line, it is not fitted to a particular line, then it is automatically moved to the next line. If you are hit the enter, then also it is moved to the next line. This is called word wrapping. So next terminology is called indentation. Indentation means the distance from the text border and the page margin is called indent. The distance from the text boundaries and the page margin. So here look at that, here better example is there. So assume that this is a page. So look at that, the left, look at that, positive indent means it is always right. So this is an example of positive indent. So negative indent means it is left part of that margin. Positive indentation means always right side of that margin. There should be some space is there. Look at that dashed line, and this is an example only start after the dashed line right side only. This is called a positive indent. Negative indent means that this is an example of negative indent. That line is, some part of the line is in the left side of that margin. That is called a negative indent. Hanging indent means, look at that here, this is an example of hanging indent where the text started a little inward to the left of first line. So look at that here, the hanging indent, so that two dots are appear on something is appear to the right side. So left side only. So by looking, this is only hanging. By looking, this is only hanging. So the hanging indent, which means that that paragraph is only appear inward to the left of first line. Okay, that is called a hanging indent. So these are the three types of indents are available in open office writer 1, positive indent, negative indent and hanging indent. So here explanation is here. Positive indent means text area is always narrower than the space between the margins. The text is line is invented from the margins. Negative indent means negative indent allows the text to extend to the margin. So look at that here, text is extend to the margin, it is moved to the left part only. Hanging indent means this is beginning, this is called hanging indent, refers to further indication part. The text with the hanging indent is little inward from the first line. So look at that here, this is example of hanging indent. So little inward from the first line only. So this is called hanging indent. So three types of indents are available there: positive indent, negative indent and hanging indent. So here it is one another example, and one another important thing is there. The please note that if the indent is being applied to be applicable on the left side of the page, then it is known as left indent. So left side means left indent or before text indent. It is called if indent is appear in the left side, it is called a left indent or before text indent. So if you are in right side, if it is using right indent or after text indent. So MCQ questions may be like this only: left indent or before text indent, and right indent or after text indent. Okay. So another important terminology is paragraph indenting versus page margin. So look at that, one paragraph is there. So in this two paragraph is there. First paragraph means paragraph without any indentation, which means simply write only. There is no indentation of the paragraph. Second one, look at that, paragraph is indented, which means that look at that, after this is a formatted paragraph with the left and right indentation, which means that look at that second line, third line, fourth line, fifth line in same only in the left part and right part. So which means that this is only justification. This is called justification. Indented paragraph, that is called indented paragraph. But look at that, the first paragraph, first line, second line, third line, and the left part and right part in a different order only, different level only. So that is called a non-indented paragraph. So this is example of second paragraph is an example of indented paragraph. Okay. So indentation of paragraph means there is a gap. So look at that, there is a gap. This space, extra space, is gap is called indentation. Okay. Then next is called fonts and styles and size. So different styles of fonts, styles and size are available in OpenOffice Writer. So font means the way the characters look like in our text, means in write. So these are the various character style available in OpenOffice Writer 1. Various character styles are available. So by clicking or by selecting this, you can add different styles to our text. Then text attribute. So text attribute, you can make the text attribute like a normal. So here text attribute styles are here. Normal, italic, bold, italic, strike through. So normal means it's applied only in a normal version. Italic means some left, means some curveness is there. Bold means boldness. Bold and italic means bold, italic means it is bold and also italic also. Strike through means there is an arrow, there is a line through that text, that is called a strike through. So in text attribute style, in text attributes there are mainly 5 text attributes: normal, italic, bold, italic, strike through. So this is an example of that. So MCQ questions like this only, they will give one text, means one word. So you need to find out the text attribute, if it is normal, italic, bold, italic or strike through. Okay.